What's up guys, Jackson here, back again with another headphone review. Today we're doing the Audio Technica ATH-M50x's. My first review was the M40x's, so they're older brother. And we're doing the same usual format for headphone reviews, just reviews in general. I think all we've done is headphones so far. But, you know, no editing, unscripted, no bullshit. This is just straight honesty from me, because I bought these with my own money, you know. So, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Well, basically, here's some context for you, because I'm going to start doing that, adding some context. The type of music I listen to is mostly rock and metal. I like music with a little bit of bass in it, but mostly having those powerful highs and mids that are very defined. I like that. You can probably hear the cars out there. This mic is so sensitive. Okay. Yeah, getting off topic. That's typical me. So, my last review, I reviewed these right here, the Sennheiser HD598s, and those have been great headphones, and they've been my daily driver now for about a month. So I decided that I'm gonna go buy some M50x's because I'm single and I have a job and I can do whatever I want. So I went and bought these just a couple days ago for the President's Day sale at Guitar Center, and I got them for $149.99, so like $150. And here are my impressions so far, guys. One, this has just kind of been a weird contrast to these HD598s, because those have very little bass. They're open back. They have a ton of detail in the highs and the mids, and they're pretty fatiguing headphones. They're very bright, and they make you, you know, after listening to music for like an hour, you know, your ears kind of get tired. So this is definitely a bit of a different experience, definitely closer to the M40x's. Obviously, they're in the same family of headphones. So, okay, I guess we'll go ahead and get started here. Since this is unscripted, I'll probably screw something up in the process, but it wouldn't be one of my reviews if we didn't. So, okay. So basically, the first thing I noticed when I put these headphones on is these are very comfortable. Like I said, I came from the 598s as my daily driver since, you know, around New Year's. It's February 12th, February 13th, I don't know. Those have velour head pads, or ear pads, or whatever the hell you call them. And these are the leathery ones right here. So, yeah, a little bit different. These definitely provide some warmth to your ears, and that's not necessarily a good thing. And we'll touch more on that if we don't forget. So, they're very comfortable. They don't have a whole lot of clamping force, which is nice. That's coming from the 598s, which have virtually no clamping force. So that's cool. And you don't really realize how big or small of a head you have until you try multiple pairs of headphones. Guys, apparently I have a tiny head because I don't even have to do any notches on these to adjust them. Like, dude, watch this. Watch this. All the way out. These things don't even fit on me. Like, I have a tiny head. So, enough fucking around. Okay. So in terms of how they fit for me, not a whole lot of clamping force because they don't have the leverage to clamp down because they're on the lowest setting. They don't have that ability to press forward as hard, I guess you could say. So I can't really be a good determination of how hard the clamping force is, but it's not much, I promise you. The M40x's had more than these do. One thing I do like about these that the 598s didn't have, and I promise I'm not trying to make this comparison video between this and the 598s, but these have these swivels on them like this, both ways. There we go. So if you're wearing them, you can just kind of plop them around your neck like that, or other way. If you're, I don't know, if you want to use them as a speaker. These things get loud, so you can probably use them as a speaker if you wanted to. They swivel, which is really cool, and then they're comfortable. They fit all the way around my ears. I actually have pretty small ears. Apparently everything up here is small. Up here is small. Just up here. Yeah, so they're comfortable enough for me. I don't get a whole lot of ear heat. They fit around my ears perfectly. Headband's plenty comfortable. No complaints here for the comfort. top notch there. Sound quality. First thing I noticed is the thumping bass, man. These things have some thumping bass. I like that, actually. I kind of miss having some thumping bass. These 598s, they had bass presence, but it wasn't thumping bass. Like, what's cool about these is you don't feel like you have headphones on your head that are thumping, like, on your head. You feel like it feels like the bass is inside of like your skull. It's like kind of reverberating out, and that sounds really weird. Like maybe I dropped some acid or something while I'm doing this review. No, I don't even know if that make any sense. That probably didn't make any sense. Basically, it doesn't feel like headphones are transferring bass to your head. It feels like the bass is coming from in your head to the outside. It feels more immersive. We'll put it that way. The bass is pretty tight. It's pretty controlled. It's not rumbly like the beats, man. Those things are just like kind of rumble. They don't have impact. It just kind of rumbles. These have impact. It's like it's punching your head. Now, of course, I've EQ'd mine. I have an equalizer program on my computer. I think it's called the Equalizer APO with the Piece GUI, which is the graphics user interface, so I can play around with it. So what I've done recently in my journey of audiophilism, is that a word? We'll look it up later. I like to up the bass on the headphones and then run a high-pass filter, which basically cuts down, I run mine around 35, 40 hertz, so it cuts a lot of the really, really low bass out, which can drown out a lot of the other frequencies that you like to listen to. Like I love the mids and the highs, mostly the highs because I listen to a lot of metal music, and a lot of the guitar playing and the cymbals and the drums will hit those high frequencies, and I like to hear that. I like the detail. So I run a high pass filter, which takes out anything below 35 hertz. It will not come through here, so I do get the bass hit, but I don't get any of the rumbly bass, if that makes sense. So if you like to play around with equalizers and you have the ability to throw a high pass filter on there, and you listen to rock music or just any music in general, I would recommend it. It definitely clears up the audio big time. Excuse me 1 second. Oh, that's good. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and talk about the highs. One thing about the 598s, they sounded great. They're super detailed, but they, like I said, are fatiguing. And after a while, you're like, I just don't feel like listening to music anymore, because you start getting a headache from all of the cymbals and the guitar and whatnot. So one thing I do like about these is that the treble is slightly rolled off, and I like that. As a contrast to what I was listening to, because I get to listen to music obviously for a longer amount of time, but I can do it more casually. I don't have to sit here and critically analyze what's going on inside my brain with the music. With the HD 598s, if you're trying to listen to ambient music, it wasn't going to happen. It was too much in your face, very bright. These are definitely warmer sounding. The bass, it kicks a little more, and the highs are rolled off to where they don't pierce your ears quite as bad. And I like that. And recently I've been listening to a lot of Deftones, and Deftones has a really nice bassy, tight, bassy, punchy sound to them. And they don't have a whole lot of highs. I mean, they do, but not a whole, how do I explain that? They have a moderate amount of highs. And they're really good music to listen to, for ambient music. I listen to a lot of ambient stuff while I'm doing homework, and I like it a lot, and this has been a very good contrast for me, and I don't know what else to say. Like I said, it's unscripted, so I have to think of all this stuff on the fly. It's just a good listening experience, especially if you're going to be using these while you're walking around, doing anything that requires ambient music, or you just, you don't want to sit here and critically analyze your music all the time. Now, you can do that with these. You get plenty of detail. It's just, the treble is not going to pierce your ears to where you're kind of always reminded you've got music going on in your ear. It doesn't have to be that way. You can EQ that in if you want to, but the way it comes, no, it's not going to do that. They're pretty flat out of the box in terms of the frequency. I always play with mine because I like colorful music. It depends on what I'm listening to, but for the most part, I like some colorful music. I like to up the bass and up the treble a little bit, because standard U, man, that's metal for you. So that's good. These are great for metal guys. 598s, they aren't bad for metal, but I mean, the bass is really what gives the presence in metal music, and you got that double bass drum going, and you're headbanging the shit out of your head, and you know, you want that bass, man. You want to feel like you're in the crowd, man. You know, you ever been to a metal concert, you can feel the subwoofers, and you can feel the low end hitting you in the chest, man. Like, it's, you know, you kind of get that same feeling in your head with these. You definitely feel the music. It's very nice. On the other end of the spectrum, guys, besides metal and rock, I do listen to some soft stuff. I think I've said it before, I don't know, I like John Mayer. Throw shit at me if you want, I like John Mayer. Mostly his old stuff. But these do really well with kind of slower, softer music. It's nice. The guitar work sounds really good on these headphones. If you listen to a lot of music that's very guitar oriented, like I listen to Dream Theater a lot with John Petrucci, and you know, you probably don't know him, but whatever. These sound great. Okay, we'll put it this way: there is yet to be a genre that these headphones didn't do well in. I even tried some EDM, which I cannot stand. I cannot stand any sort of music that's not played on an instrument, so like rap and whatnot. But I threw some on just so I could do this review. And it sounds fine, guys. I mean, the bass is tight, the bass is there. It's not going to rumble your head in a bad way. It will definitely feel like you're getting punched in the head. If you want it to sound that way, you can EQ that bass up and it'll fucking punch you in the face. But yeah, basically you can get whatever you want out of these headphones if you want to EQ. Even if you don't want to EQ, you can still have a very good listening experience, especially if you want a flat response. So other than that, let's see what kind of features. Oh yeah, they do have the detachable cable. They just the same ones with the M40Xs. If you saw my last review, the twist and lock. They won't come out, and I'm not going to pull hard because these are mine. Unless you want me to pull harder, and you can buy me a new pair, you know, for testing purposes. But nice twist and lock feature. I already showed you once, but the feature where you can swivel the head, the ear cups, you can twist them around either way. So you know, if you're walking to class and you want to look like you're some kind of badass walking to class, even though you're like me and you're like 6 foot 150 and you're not a big guy, you can still feel like a badass. But they do look nice. Kind of clunky, kind of big, but if anybody gives you shit, you can't hear them because these things isolate sound really well, so you can block out the haters, man. Yeah, they sound good. They have very good sound isolation. We'll go ahead and do a sound lake test for y'all. Just remember that I'm using a Blue Yeti mic, and these are much more critical than the human ear is. I mean, dude, you can hear a gnat fart with this thing. Okay, so whenever I plug these headphones into my mic, I get live, playback of what's going through my mic. Like I can hear girls screaming through my walls at my apartment here, and I would never pick up on that with my ears. So maybe I'm going deaf. I don't know. Maybe I'm deaf. So just keep in mind, it may not be this loud. Plus, I'm sitting maybe a foot and a half away from my mic here. So we'll go ahead and do that for you. Let me see. We're at a pretty decent volume level, a comfortable listening volume, and I like my music pretty loud. So we'll go ahead and throw on a song. So here you go. It's not playing back. 1 second. Wow, this is a damn shame. Let me make sure our playback deal is going here. Of course not. Here we go. We're actually going to pause that so we don't blow our ears out. Yeah, that would blow our ears out, actually. Okay. Here we go. So that was a pretty moderate listening level. I mean, it was definitely on the higher end of the volume scale, but it wasn't like it wasn't like a gunshot in my ear. It's, you know, it's definitely a comfortable listening level. Everyone's subjective, so that's the only way I'm going to explain it. So let's go ahead and kind of start wrapping this thing up, because it's almost 15 minutes long, and I have hardly started on this Dr. Pepper, so conclusion time, I guess you could say. I got these for $150, and I was mentally prepared to spend about $180 at Guitar Center, so for me, I'm already gotten kind of a deal on them. It was the President's Day sale, like I said, so definitely kind of lucky there. But if you're going to spend full price, which, guys, you can get these on Amazon for like $150. I think it's $152 as I speak right now. So these are kicking headphones, man. I like them just as much as those 598s over there. They do isolate sound pretty well. They have some cool features, detachable cable, swiveling ear cups. Pretty comfortable, not a whole lot of clamping force. Very solid low end, pretty good treble. Of course, you can EQ the music or your headphones as you desire, and they respond well to an EQ. They do come with 3 cables, I forgot to mention, and a carrying pouch thing. I have like 10 of these now. I don't know where. My buddy gave me one. I have some from the M40Xs still, which I gave to my brother, and then I have this one. So, I mean, it's pretty flimsy, but it's leathery. It gets the job done, so if you're just going to be carrying them. They do come with a 10-foot straight cable, a 3-foot straight cable, which I'm using right here, and then they give you a 3-foot coiled cable with the big adapter on it. I think it's like a 6.3 millimeter or some shit like that. You know, if you need it, you know what it is. Put it that way. So, yeah, the box is pretty nice too, which if people care about boxes, believe it or not. So, you know, good packaging. I mean, just a box, but some people care about how the boxes look, because, you know, some people. I used to use boxes as display items on big shelves. I think it looks cool, but yeah. So, value for money, guys. These are solid. I mean, obviously, these are classics, man. The M50s, the original M50s, were around for 10 years, and then these are just the revision of them with detachable cables, basically. And they kick ass. I mean, if they didn't kick ass, they wouldn't be selling as well as they are. Now, granted, Beats sell well. Doesn't mean they're good, but they sell well. But these obviously have some hi-fi acclamation awards. So, well, people who know music and know audio quality tend to know that these are good headphones, especially for the price. Now, they're not the best headphones in the world. I'm not going to say they're the best, but they're definitely the best for the price you're paying. Under $200, yeah, these are the 598s. I'm pretty impartial. They're both really good. It just depends if you want open back or closed back, or, you know, whatever you have. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here and stop wasting your time. It's 18 minutes into this thing. Typical video for me. I just kind of lose track of time, say some stupid shit, do some mess ups, and hopefully bring you guys the information you need to know. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. One more thing, I just thought of it. These have pretty low impedance, so you can drive them on your iPhone. So that's always solid. You don't need an amp for them. Amps always help with everything. They make them sound better for the most part. But they do sound very good, and they don't need a whole lot of power to drive. Anyway, getting out of here before we hit 19 minutes. So, you guys have a good day. Feel free to like, subscribe, drop a comment if you have a question, and I will get back to you as soon as possible, and I'm pretty good about getting back. So, thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.